Welcome, Twin Flames, soldiers of love. I like to call us the Twin Soul Flames. I would also like to welcome any star seeds, light workers, any other members of the spiritual community that is viewing my video. Welcome. I am Virtuosa the Goddess. I am a star seed light worker, twin soul flame. I am a soldier for love. That is my tribe. If you love unconditionally, this is also your tribe. So welcome, family. How do I serve the divine and continue to eat? Well, see, that's the feet of those who are no longer asleep. I guess there's no reason to cry if I'm homeless, because in that fact, I'm still blessed. No reason to complain or fuss. I signed up for this. It's twin soul flame or bust. I'm serving the divine with trust. And with that said, I want to invite and welcome the divine creator spirit of all the gods and goddesses. I want to also invite in all of the archangels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Ariel. L stands for angel. Archangel Raphael, and the rest, the ones Metatron, the ones that I've left off. I also want to invite any ascended masters. All of the ascended masters that you may worship, I want to call them in. Any of my ancestors and your ancestors that serve our highest good at this point that we're ushering in the new earth, we want to invite those in. I also want to invite in any angels or spirit guides from the higher realms that want to come in and assist us at this moment in time. I also want to invite any of the animal spirits that want to assist our highest good at this time. And with that being said, before we get started with this Twin Soul Flame Soldiers of Love session, if you guys could take the time to hit the like, subscribe, bell notification button, and when we're done, if you could comment so that I can make this channel better, more inviting, more full of love. Whatever suggestions you have, I'm open to them. Be kind. Everyone has a mission. So if you're a light worker, let's be honest with each other, but that's also come to each other with love and a place of love, because that's what we came to do. So I just want to first give an offering from the cup of the divine to the divine feminine and divine masculine, and then back to one cup. May the divine masculine and divine feminine drink from one cup. Cheers. Okay, before we get started with the tarot reading, I just wanted to talk about some things that I was led during a meditation, a deep upper realm meditation, I was led to talk about the laws of Maat. And Maat happens to be my divinity name. Virtuosa is my name that my father stayed up all night to give me. It means one who's skilled in the arts, virtue, one that is always steadfast and righteous. A virtuous woman always takes care of her family. She does what it takes within the realms of her divinity to get the job done. So she's very skilled in the arts. She's creative. So that's where virtuosa comes from. It is the feminine aspect of virtuoso. However, my divinity name, the aspect that I was to embody before I incarnated here to planet Earth, is Maat. Okay, it was done in a spiritual ceremony where that is revealed. All, when you're called, will have your divinity names. And most of you will be led to your galactical names. Okay. I also want to point out, before we get started with the reading, I like to call on the ancient ones and the ancient gods and goddesses, because a lot of the information that is shared in religion was taken from Kemet, or what you call Egypt. And it's imperative that those being my ancestors, that we recognize their names and pay homage to those gods and goddesses, because the information was taken, stolen, and what wasn't burnt, it was plagiarized and replaced and edited so severely that we're just now putting back the pieces to get the messages back together. And what was important about ancient Kemet, or Egypt, was the fact that they lived in harmony, despite of what the history channels tell you. Because every domineering society or a colonizer or colonizing societies try to, it's like, Kobe Bryant and Shaq. I'm better than you, or you're better than me. But really, let's go back to where the pyramids were built and how they cannot be recreated till this day, because of the work that they did together on planet Earth, and how those pyramids lined up with the stars and the sky, and the 3 pyramids of Giza, they lined up with the Big Dipper, what they call the Big Dipper. Those constellations are called something totally different, but that's a whole entire history lesson that I won't get into, because that's really not the point I'm trying to make. But firstly, I always introduce you guys to the first woman, goddess, who was the first one recognized as the Immaculate Conception bringer to this planet, and that's Aset. Here she has the sun disk on top of her head. That red dot represents the sun, and that is Ra. That is known as Ra. Here was her husband consort, or the god, so she's the goddess principle, the feminine, divine feminine, and this is the divine masculine. And he's Osar, and he represents the masculine principle, or the divine masculine, and their child, because 1 plus 2 begat Haru. So he represents the child. So you have man, woman, and child, which was the original Holy Trinity. And that's just your, this is just the foundation of where I'm going. Because I get into their story of how 1 + 1 became 3 at a later session. But however, I want to mention another divine feminine goddess. Her name is Maat. Maat is where you get the term Ma, or matriarch. Ma represents order, truth, justice, and righteousness. And from Maat, the earth, planet Earth, many, many thousands of years ago, received 42 laws from which man and mankind, and at that time humans, were to live by. And so as ancient Kemet, or Egypt, she has a temple there. And she's on most of the walls in those structures, in those temples. You can Google her name. It's M-A-A-T, Maat. Maat is also the aspect, one of the aspects of the all goddess Aset, who in recent or modern times you guys call her Mother Mary. Because over time the names were changed and things were changed. But if you do research, I urge you, and it would behoove you to do some research on Egypt, a Kemet. You don't have to take my word, but I was instructed to teach this because I incarnated on this earth to spread love and to lead everyone to the teachings of our forefathers and ancestors that lived in love, peace, harmony, truth, freedom, and everything that is here on planet Earth for us at this moment, but many of us have not awakened to it. So, Maat she brings us the 42 laws, and we call them the 42 laws of Maat, or the 42 negative confessions of Maat. And you will also see them in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which is where the Bible was taken from. The Pert M. Haru for Aset's son here, which is where you get the term hero or Horus. It's called the Book of Coming Forth by Day, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. This was the original Bible. You will hear Maat's laws called the 42 utterances of Maat. When you see her on the walls of Egypt, you will see her with a feather like such in the back of her head. Because when we all pass away, our souls were judged. She is the one that judges. She's the one holding the scales that they recreate in this society, but the scales aren't balanced. Her scales want to be balanced, but your heart is placed on one scale and the feather is placed on another. And your heart must weigh lighter than this feather, meaning if there is any envy, hate, lust, or greed, in your heart, then there will be consequences of karma, because she is the fulcrum or the main point of the law of cause and effect, which is the law of cause and effect is a universal law, which is her god, the god, or her consort. She's the goddess, Maat. She is a consort to Huti, or you guys may have heard of him in Greek. His Greek term is Thoth. Thoth. Okay, so he brings the 7 laws or universal laws or 7 hermetic principles, but his goddess, Maat, brings the 42 laws of Maat. So when your soul arrives in judgment day in the judgment hall of Maat, your heart, which is your unconscious mind, is placed on the scale with the feather. And if your heart is lighter than a feather, you may go and return back to your original source, the divine creator of the souls of the God and the creator of all the gods and goddesses. Because your soul is immortal and it's perfect. But it is our flesh and our unconscious mind that tricks us into all of the problems that we are facing here on planet Earth at this time. But however, I just want to quickly go through the 42 laws of Ma'at really quickly, so that you would kind of see where they took the 10 commandments from. Let's go through them quickly. I have not committed sin. I have not committed robbery with violence. I have not stolen. I have not slain men or women. I have not stolen food. I have not swindled offerings. I have not stolen from a god or goddess. I have not told lies. I have not carried away food. I have not cursed. I have not closed my ears to truth. I have not committed adultery. I have not made anyone cry. I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not assaulted anyone. I have not been deceitful. I have not stolen anyone's land. I have not been an eavesdropper. I have not falsely accused anyone. I have not been angry without reason. I have not seduced anyone's wife or husband. I have not polluted myself. I have not terrorized anyone or caused fear. I have not disobeyed the law. I have not been exclusively angry. I have not cursed a god or goddess. I have not behaved with violence. I have not caused disruption of peace. I have not acted hastily or without thought. I have not overstepped my boundaries of concern. I have not exaggerated my words when speaking. I have not worked evil. I have not used evil thoughts, words, or deeds. I have not polluted the water. I have not spoken angrily or arrogantly. I have not cursed anyone in thought, word, or deed. I have not placed myself on a pedestal. I have not stolen what belongs to a god or goddess. I have not stolen from or disrespected the deceased. I have not taken food from a child. I have not acted with insolence. I have not destroyed property belonging to a god or goddess. So with all those being said, those are the 42, and you can see why they took 10, because these are very, very strict ways of living. With all the television and all of the things that we have going on, and I'm going to be honest with you, Twin Flames, you know this. Marriage between the state is merely a contract between the state and 2 individuals. If you are a twin soul flame, is what I like to call us, you understand that that happened before we even incarnated on earth. That is the true marriage. So there's no judgment even with me reading these laws. Cursing, we understand that cursing is not words like shit, because that is, unless you use it in an offensive way, because that is how the trees grow. That's manure. That is how fruit and vegetables are grown with, fertilizer. So use these, and it's all about the heart, the subconscious mind. As a man thinketh, so he is. So you get the gist of it. Once you print them out or you take a look at them yourself, get familiar with them, because when the world gets to the point of where we're going, these are the laws that we will be living by, not statutes, codes, and ordinances like you got a broken tail light, or your hubcap fell off and you get a ticket, or the armed mercenary doesn't like the way you looked at them when they pulled you over because you were, because I can get into the four requirements of what a crime is. And riding with a broken tail light is not a crime. So that is the earth that we're moving towards, to where people don't profit off of things that they went to Congress and made a crime. So with that said, I just had to get that out the way, because I have to tell you guys what my true mission is. My mission is love, first and foremost, but it's also to teach about Maat. How I know, because in all of my downloads and all of my channelings, I've been urged to do that. And so it's done. And so it is. So now let's get into our reading. And thank you guys for being with me during that moment in time. I appreciate it. Let's get into the tarot reading. So, I ask the divine to please give us a message. Make me a clear channel for the collective, and let them receive the messages with love, and let it be comforting to their hearts, their souls, and their subconscious minds, and their conscious mind. Let the dear souls that watch this video be comforted. So, what is the divine? Let's see what energy is surrounding the divine feminine today. And we have the great void, Aditi, or Aditi, which is the number 20 card, the great void. So these cards are pretty new to me. Let me find out who this goddess is, because I'm very, very curious as to who this goddess is. I love it. I see that her heart chakra is lit up, and she looks Asian, like she's from the Asian culture. I'm not very familiar with the Asian culture, but I do respect the Asian culture, because they preserved lots of the Kemetic teachings and had great respect, like yoga. You can go to the walls of Egypt and find yoga poses. A lot of people don't know that, because they don't, you haven't been led to that. If you haven't been led to that area to do any studies, or if you take the time to open your mind, you can go and see a lot of the yoga poses. Maybe one day I'll pull them up. Actually, I just saw one in my book I could pull up. And the study of the chakras also comes from Egypt. As a matter of fact, well, I just wanted to show you, well, if you can see it, that is part of a picture of Maat. But the pictures are better in color, because this is a black and white version. But anyway, the yoga poses. See, that's like the downward dog. That is the sky goddess Newt. I usually call on those gods and goddesses. I do usually call on those. But today I wanted to make sure I had enough time to get to the teachings of Maat. Okay, so she represents ether, this goddess here. And this is what the divine feminine is embodying today. She's the Hindu mother of all the gods and goddesses. So she is the Hindu version of Aset. So from the ultimate void, she gave birth to the stars and planets, pure divinity. She existed before time as infinity of mother space. All creation is conceived and born from the fertile void of her emptiness. She is the mother of all. Her womb holds the totality of creation, yet unborn, vast and limitless. With all the possibilities to come, she is the great mystery that dwells in the ethers, who fulfills every desire and nourishes all life. She comes during times of the great void that precede transition. So she is the emptiness that must be acknowledged when the way before you is dark and unclear, helping you to face the unknown with surety and without fear. She allows you to see the result of your actions before acting, to use the fertile seed times to gain new perspective and access fresh ideas. She holds all the possibilities for your future, which becomes clearer through self-reflection and understanding. Before your world is manifested, she brings all the possibilities to you for creating the world of substance to come. So the divine feminine right now is feeling like, and this is a major arcana card, the divine feminine is feeling like she is heading towards the unknown. We are experiencing quite a bit of towers at this moment, which it changes. And so is the divine masculine. So things are unknown at this time. But however, we are moving forward because the mother goddess principle is leading us with the answers as we self-reflect. So that is where the divine feminine is. She is being divinely guided through these uncertain times during this great void. You may be experiencing feelings of void because you have not heard from your divine masculine, or maybe things aren't moving the way that you want them to if you are in communication with them. So everybody's really uncertain as to where we're going. So let's get the energy between the divine masculine and divine feminine. What is the energy between the divine masculine and divine feminine? Expression. It's the number 8. So this is like the 8 of Wands. Fire. The fire element. So what is happening with the energy between, which this is kind of, I'm moving from right to left. The energy between the twin soul flames is Mercury and Sagittarius. It is, we're just embracing our creativity at this time. We're using our creativity to teach and to guide and to be the guide and light for the earth. This is like embracing and learning to communicate all of our ways of healing the earth. You see, she's carrying something up on top of her shoulders. And I love her. She's a thick woman. I love that. I mean, this is a lovely card. But despite her flaws and everything she's gone through, she's still carrying the world on her shoulders. She's still able to do that. So between us, I mean, you can see everything. I mean, this is beautiful. I love this card. So despite what we are all both going through, we're still expressing ourselves creatively and yet still carrying out our missions and our purpose in some way, form, or fashion. So let's get the energy for the divine masculine. Ooh. We have the element of earth and the snake that represents the kundalini, and also the infinity symbol, the number 8. And this is the number 2. This is 2 cycles, but this is the 2 of pentacles. And this is, we're juggling living in the upper realms or the higher dimensions, 5th dimension and above, and planet Earth. So that is what the divine masculine is doing. So the divine feminine is mostly being focused on 5th dimension and above, and the divine masculine is on both. He's focused on both. So he's the 2 of pentacles. And most people just say, yeah, he's juggling. But you must be aware of what you came to planet Earth to do. And also be aware of where you came from if you're a starseed, light worker, or twin soul flame. And the 2 must work together. So this is the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So the divine masculine has his divine feminine, which is his earth, on his mind. And he's protecting it. And she's there intertwined, representing infinity. And together they make one, like this one cup from the divine. I also wanted to pull a new earth card. It's an inspirational card from Eckhart Tolle. It's beautiful. It's a new earth card because he made these cards with the new earth that we are currently already in, but we're awakening too. And the twin soul flames simply means that we are on the front lines of going through all the things that humans or people go through on earth and being able to teach people how to move and maneuver and navigate through those everyday problems. So we're the front runners or front line defense of the soldiers of love. Does not make us better or worse. It's just we are the front line. Most of us twin soul flames have gone through the worst of the worst lives and have made it through to be here at this moment. And most of us are, and all of us are honored to suffer and struggle to get to the heaven on earth that was promised to each and every soul living here on planet Earth. The more limited, the more narrowly egoic your view of yourself is, the more you will see, focus on, and react to the egoic limitations. The unconsciousness in others, their faults, or what you perceive as their faults, become to you their identity. This means you will see only the ego in them and thus strengthen the ego in yourself. So what this is saying is, once you release your ego, and I've experienced this lesson this week, once you release your ego, you can then not focus on the faults of others. And that is a great message. I also want to pull some messages. Let me get another deck real quick. for, sorry, this is for the people who love traditional tarot. And everyone loves the Spellcaster's deck. This was my very first deck. So, for the divine feminine energy and the traditional, well, it's not traditional, but everyone loves spellcasters because most readers use this. So I'll pull this out just to pull you back in. We have the Hangman. And so at this moment in time, we're still working with the light and the darkness. We're doing shadow work. We're working with our lightness and our darkness. And energy between the two, the divine masculine and feminine, is the Four of Swords. And if you see here, the Four Swords represents the mental aspect, or the mental thinking. The swords is all mental. And what he's thinking here is our old ways are about to die. It's like we're all being cornered and saying, hey, these wolves are saying, hey, what you gonna do? You know, go ahead and heal and recuperate, but you got work to do, buddy. These swords are sitting here waiting on you. So we're feeling void, again, like this card from the divine feminine. We're resting, healing, and we're basically waiting on our next direction. But there is a bit of fear. However, you see how his hands are crossed? We're on guard. We know that this is just a phase and that there will be action soon. This guy is ready to stand up and take action as soon as those wolves turn their back. They don't really look like they're ready to eat him or anything. But looks like while he was chilling with the candle in his shoe, you can see that's a candle in his shoe, those wolves appeared while his swords were at rest. So that's how both twins are feeling. It's the energy between us. And what is the divine masculine? What energy is surrounded him in our Spellcaster's deck? Ooh. He's having the Queen of Wands, so he may be having a matriarch or maybe a very nurturing energy either surrounding him, or he may be feeling this energy because of his divine feminine. That is the fire element. And the Queen of Wands, she represents a very kind nature. She's like peaceful. And this is also fall. So maybe he has reuniting with his divine feminine in the fall. She's with authority, so her mind is made up. So he's feeling like the divine feminine is standing in her power, but she's ready to love him deeply and with compassion. So that's what energy he has his divine feminine on his mind. The divine feminine is hanging around waiting on the divine. And bottom line, the energy between us is we are all both just like, well, what's next, divine? So that is that. And let's go to what energy is between the two. And I just want to share a cool fact. These glasses are from my ancestor, my Aunt Tiny. I love to have her present. So does the divine masculine or your counterpart, if you're a divine masculine watching this, I'm sorry, because mostly divine feminines watch this. But I do have another fun fact. A lot of the readers will say that the divine masculine was the last to awaken, but in my case, my divine masculine was the one to awaken me as to who I was and where I came from, which I thought was very cool. Because I always thought I was always more, you know, on top of everything. In every other relationship, I've always been the leader. And finally, I kind of met my match, someone who knew more than I knew. And I was like in shock. So your divine counterpart wants to say our separation is for our highest good. These are channeled messages that I channeled one night, and I wrote them on cards because they were so beautiful I didn't want to lose the thoughts. And let's see what other messages the counterpart wants to tell us. I Just Can't Stop Loving You by Michael Jackson. So when you hear that song, play that song today. If you start to miss your counterpart, you can hear that song. And watch the signs, symbols, and synchronicities. And they love you unconditionally. Let's pull one more. And they want to tell you that I feel good when you're enjoying yourself. So enjoy yourself. Check out the laws of Maat, the 42 principles, 42 utterances, the 42 negative confessions of Maat. They're called all of the same things. You can easily Google them. I did, however, want to close this with an Isis Oracle. I love these cards. I'll only close it with one because it's an incantation that goes with it. And we have the High Priestess. See that Kemet or Egyptian theme? Mysteries revealed in the eyes of Isis. And that is what Aset is also called. She's also called Isis in Greek. So let's look what this says. And I want to hold this card up as I read it. Let me find it here in this book. It's no way I would have to do these incantations 12 times a day to remember these by heart. But the High Priestess says, Beloved Isis, or Aset, gazes upon you now, and behind her vast eyes, mysteries are unveiled. A new clarity around your direction is unfolding. Be willing to wait for the full reveal, but also recognize what is happening at this time. You will be gaining valuable insight into where you are being led and for what purpose. It is an exciting moment in your unfoldment. Have reverence and an open heart and mind, and wait patiently for the grand revelation that is on its way. So you're guided to trust in the reveal, whether it seems magnificent or if you have no idea how it could possibly happen, or if you don't even know what the purpose is or why you're being led. At this time, we're going to be experiencing a lot of aha moments. You may even feel the joy and peace and trust within you, growing into the serenity of the High Priestess, who accepts all with wisdom, born of great insight and understanding. Rather than being passive, she is actively surrendered in absolute trust in higher wisdom. Hey, that went along with my new opening rap, my new opening hip hop lyrics. The high priestess, Lady Isis, or Aset, and your own divine soul are calling you to trust in the unfoldment of a mystery into revelation right now. Pay attention to sacred signs, dreams, and intuitions right now, as they are accurate and more prophetic than usual. Provided the guidance in these spiritual insights is guiding you to just have deep trust and safety in knowing in unfamiliar circumstances. Something bizarre or strange is happening now. Provided you feel love in your heart, just still trust it. It is the hand of the divine guiding us. And we just don't know enough of what's happening in the big picture or to make sense of the situation, but in time, we'll realize. So let's say this incantation. In dream, in thought, direct, in awareness, and in bodily sense, I now receive the mystery unveiled. I am not denied any detail. I receive this now with comprehension clear from Priestess Isis or Aset, who holds me dear. So the mother goddesses surrounding both twins, or the mother goddess energy is surrounding both twins, which is love and nurturing. And on that note, I want to thank you. You guys could have been doing anything with your time, but you chose to come to my channel. Please remember to hit the like, subscribe, notification bell over to the right of the subscribe so that you can be notified when I upload another video. Please comment. Please feel free to email me any questions, any personal things you want to talk about. I'm open. And I do love you and thank you so much. And it is an honor and pleasure to serve you in these videos. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful, exuberant, exciting, magical, awesome day. Peace.